even try to hide her amusement. Turning back to Jaren, Kiva attempted to rally some kind of encouragement. There's nothing I can tell you that will prepare you for what you're about to experience. I'm sorry, that's just the reality of Zalandov. This place will test you to your limits and beyond, but it's not impossible to survive it. I'm living proof of that. Jaren's eyes held hers as he quietly asked, "What's your secret? To surviving, I mean." She considered her words carefully before answering. It helps if you have something to live for, to fight for. It grounds you, gives you a reason to get up every morning. It gives you a reason to want to survive. And sometimes, it's the wanting that makes all the difference. Because once you give up in here, she pointed to her heart, then you're already as good as dead. He cocked his head to the side. What's your something? What are you living for? Kiva arched a brow. That is none of your business. She started walking forward again. Let's get you to your cell block. A few hours sleep, and you'll wake up feeling much better. Dryly, Jaren said, "Forgive me if I have some doubts." Kiva was well aware that his bruised and battered muscles would stiffen up during sleep, likely leaving him feeling miserable come morning, but proper rest would still aid his recovery nonetheless. "This way," was all she said, leading him onward. Jaren and Nari trailed silently behind her for a time, 3 pairs of footsteps crunching as they moved across dirt and then onto gravel again, their breaths fogging the air as the temperature dropped swiftly. While snow was common in the mountains surrounding Zalandov, it rarely fell as low as the prison. Even so, the cold was relentlessly bitter, with ice often coating the grounds. The worst days would come after the solstice, which was due in just over a week. Kiva was already bracing for all the weather-related ailments she would have to treat before the arrival of spring. They were close to reaching their destination when Jaren pointed to the northeast wall and said, "You didn't say what's in that direction." Nari cleared her throat loudly, and Kiva wondered if that meant she wasn't supposed to answer. But the guard did nothing more, so Kiva said, "That's where the abyss is." "The abyss?" "Zalandov's punishment block." Kiva could hear the incredulity in Jaren's voice when he said, "So, on top of working us to death, there's more punishment?" Jaren didn't know the half of it, and Kiva really didn't want to be the one to tell him, but he needed to be warned. So, she reached for his sleeve and tugged him to a halt, squinting in the low light to catch his eyes. While the watchtowers had roaming luminium beacons that the guards could pinpoint toward any location of their choosing, the grounds of Zalandov were otherwise pitch black once night fell in full. And it was very close to that, with them having wasted the last of the light walking from the tunnels. "No one knows what happens in the abyss," Kiva told Jaren in a serious voice. "Just that it's bad. The guards stationed there are known for their creativity." She let that sink in. Most prisoners don't come out again, and those who do are changed forever. So, if you value your life, do whatever it takes to avoid being sent there. Understood? Jaren, thankfully, didn't question or argue. "Understood." Kiva looked to Nari, and, with as much respect as she could muster, asked, "Which block is he allocated to?" 7, second floor." Kiva gritted her teeth and headed that way. Of course he was assigned to the same cell block as she. At least they were on different floors, with him being a level above her. Only when they finally reached the long rectangular building that now housed them both, and 300 others, did Kiva stop in front of the large entrance doors. "Head inside and take the stairs to your left, then claim a pallet up on the second floor," she told Jaren. "Bathing chambers and latrines are at the far end of the ground floor. The water in the shower block isn't heated, so move fast and don't get your clothes wet or you'll catch a chill." She made herself meet his eyes as she added, "There's no gender separation for sleeping or bathing, so there's an unspoken rule about respect. The guards don't enforce it, but life here is hard enough without constantly worrying about when you'll next be assaulted, so prisoners try to look out for each other." Jaren's brows pulled together. "That doesn't seem foolproof." "It's not," Kiva confirmed, "but it's rarely the prisoners you have to watch out for. As I said earlier, everyone's too tired to cause problems like that." Noting her wording, Jaren asked, "What about the guards?" Kiva looked away, her forearm throbbing in reminder. They're not as tired. When she turned back to Jaren, his jaw was clenched. Have you ever? "That's another question you should never ask anyone here," Kiva interrupted firmly. She was aware of Nari standing only a few paces away, silent and still. Jaren looked like he was about to argue, but then he raised his good hand and ran it agitatedly through his hair, instead asking, "Is there anything else I should know?" Kiva faced him dead on. "There's lots you should know, but the one thing you need to remember is this. Here, at Zalandov, the only person you can trust is yourself." And with that, she turned on her heel and strode back toward the infirmary, his orientation officially complete.